Hey guys, welcome back to SnotGoblinGaming Studios. I'm Craig.
And I'm Sam.
And we have a very special video for you. We are showcasing a new set of terrain from SnotGoblinGaming. This is a fully modular, injection molded terrain, perfect for games of Warhammer 40K. We're gonna dive in today and tell you everything you need to know about this terrain, how to get it, how much it is, what are our opinions on it, all in an honest review. So stay tuned and we will cover all of that. If you do want to stay up to date on all of our content here at SnotGoblinGaming Studios, do hit the like and subscribe to stay up to date. And if you want to help support our channel just a little bit more, do consider becoming a member. It does help us out a lot. Now, with all that out of the way, let's dive into this terrain. So an overview of what we have here. This is terrain sent to us by SnotGoblinGaming. He has asked us to do a review of this and some stuff in partnership with him. And we are, the one question I said right away before we did this is, can I do a true honest review? He said yes, and I totally agreed. So we are doing an honest review of this modular terrain. And first thing I will say is, I love this stuff. It is fun. He mentioned right away in his initial email that it's kind of like Legos. And I don't know if you played too much with Legos as a kid.
I did.
You did?
I did.
I played with them a lot. And when I first opened the box with all this terrain, I was a little overwhelmed. I mean, it was like bags, like you got in Legos. You opened a big Lego set, and then I sat down, and once I figured out how all the pieces interacted with each other, I just sat and I built for an hour and a half straight all of this terrain. A lot of fun. Everything was pretty easy clicking together once you figured it out. But yeah, great stuff. Super modular. What I guess we can show you is that, maybe, you know what? Slap a dice cam down here. So this is a very simple wall. All of these pieces, if I just take them apart here, so you got floor sections that slide apart. They all are in 3-inch segments. So everything will fit together 3 inches. You've got your wall segments that also just pop out. There is a little bit of I'll be honest, there's a little bit of a nub here, and it has a tendency to break, but the main reason it's there is to help secure these little pillar caps. I don't know, you guys can hopefully see these. Yeah. These pillar caps to kind of hide the holes. Sure. Because it is modular,
So the second layer would slot in there, but if this was at the top, then you would put the pillar cap there, and then that would just be the top of the wall.
Yep, and it's really loose until you put one of these little guys in. So my only real gripe to start is that these things, once they're locked in, they're in.
They're very hard to get out.
And they are tough, unless you've got nails.
Yeah, I was trying to get one out because this is my first time today really playing with this terrain, and I could not get it out.
Unless you got nails, or you've got a friend or somebody who has nails, they are a little bit of a pain to get off, but once they're off, they're fine.
Yep.
I love, see this one there, nails. I love the modularity of being able to pull it all apart in 3-inch segments. So you've got these pillars. I'm still showing down here, right? Yeah, still showing down here. There are straight pillars and there are angled pillars, which is what you have. Another thing that's great about this, you can't really mess it up. You can, but it won't work. So you have top of a wall and you have bottom of a wall. And it always has to go that way, otherwise it won't work.
Right.
And same thing at this one, you have bottom of a wall, top of wall, and it just clicks in like that.
And it's not like with Games Workshop terrain kits or really any other MDF or resin or plastic kit, where if you do screw it up and you realize later down the line that you screwed it up, now you have to rip apart something that's already been glued together. This just, you realize you made a mistake, you can just pop it out.
Yeah, I did that a lot of times where I was going so fast, I didn't realize that I had put something in upside down, so I quickly just pulled it off, put it back together, nice and quick. So I mean, it's modular, and it's not tedious modular. Like, you guys ever played HeroScape? That was modular terrain, but that was kind of tedious to slide the dovetails. I hate dovetails. They're great, but I also hate them for terrain because tolerances can screw you over and things can go south quick.
Sure.
So
do we want to talk about the material that it's made out of?
yeah, so it is injection molded, really good stuff. It's firm. It's not gonna really break on you outside of, again, these little 1/4 or 3/4 walls that are ruined. You guys can see both of them. Outside of these little nubs on top, it's not, I don't think any of this stuff is ever gonna break on you unless you really try to break it.
Right, it's in the course of a game, it's not something that, like, there's no protruding bits for clothes to get snagged on or anything like that, or anything fiddly that could get broken off. It's very solid, simple shapes, which really works well with the modularity aspect.
Yeah, and like we said, it is that good weight where it's not like you're making cardboard so you can lightly tap it and it falls over and throws stuff with it.
There's
but
heft.
It's not heavy where if you drop it, I mean, I guess if you drop one of these big ones on something, it's gonna hurt the model, but it's not like dropping a resin block on your model. It'll bounce, it'll move. This stuff, let me move some models off here, is durable. It holds in place once it's together. It's got weight, it doesn't fall apart, so that was nice. Layer line, or the mold lines, are on some of the columns. If you guys can see that one right there, but that'll
easy.
clean up. That is 100 times easier to clean up than any of GW stuff. And if you have a sharp enough blade, you could do one nice
just pass.
cut, one pass, clean up, instead of GWs, you go cut, 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 cut. Okay, that's one pillar, the next pillar, cut, cut, and the next pillar.
Or the mold line runs through like a ridged detail.
Oh, the ridged ones, so you're basically just cutting away at the detail. Yeah.
So, but you know, all that aside, it's much easier cleanup and a much simpler presentation.
Yeah. Have we mentioned how you get this yet? I don't think we have.
I don't think we have.
Shall we mention how you get this awesome terrain? So I'm going to go to a separate no, we'll do that after. So how you get this is through Kickstarter. So SnotGoblinGaming has a Kickstarter that is not launched yet, but it will be launched probably about a month from when this video goes. So the biggest thing he wants you to do is go use the link in the description down below. Use that link specifically and click the notify me. So it allows you, has you follow the campaign, notifies you when updates happen to it, when the Kickstarter goes live, and then you can buy it. He will have, and you guys will see this, he'll have 60 of these sets of terrain ready to sell ASAP. And then everything that is purchased afterward will go through another order and making stuff, kind of how normal Kickstarter is. But he went ahead, he did what you normally don't do with Kickstarter, but he made the product before the Kickstarter.
He's got it ready to go, so there's no when will I get it, will I get it, that you sometimes run into with miniature Kickstarters. He has the product on hand. We've seen it. Clearly we have it.
You're not getting this one. This one's ours. But yeah, so do that. So that's the biggest thing. You can follow him. I'll put his links he's got an Instagram and I believe a Reddit page for this as well. And I'll put those in the description if you want to follow along any updates there. He does have plans to go through and make more than this. I've given him some feedback on things that I think would work to add. The biggest thing is half walls. He doesn't have any half walls right now besides these like 3/4 walls, I'm calling them. But some half walls, I think.
Some nice chest high cover.
Exactly. Some of that would be good. Not a ton of it, but some of it.
Sure.
He wants to do crates. So how we have our 3D printed crates, he wants to do something where you can stack it all together, basically stack it or build it all together and take them apart. And then he wants to potentially try some other terrain too. But for now, it all depends on how the original Kickstarter is, which is why you should go down and check out this Kickstarter. The price, we're gonna talk about that because it's wild, I think, in my opinion. So, in a good way.
Very good.
So he is selling, let me switch cameras here so you guys can see what we have going on here. So we got the free cam here, right? Yeah, you guys can see the free cam. Hello, so we have this whole board. This is a standard 40K 60 by 44 inch board. And you have plenty of this terrain here. And you can see some models here for some scale. Again, all of these are 3-inch segments. So it's 3 inches up, 3 inches up. So 6 inches, that's obscuring by 40K standards. We've got, you can see how he stacks up to a Carnifex. You see it stacks up.
You've got so much terrain, it's almost a little too much. Like, you could afford to take some of the smaller sections off and either, just take them off and keep them in reserve, or put them to make a building even taller. But you get, for $200, you get a ton.
Now, when you check out the Kickstarter, he mentions, or he has it displayed as different terrain. Obviously, it's modular. He has it set up so you can buy what GW has as their standard tournament layout for terrain. I think that layout is absolute garbage. So I said, I'm going to build it my own way. He totally agreed that it's garbage, but it's a good way to market it, and I agree with that aspect.
Right. Because that was actually one of the things I thought of when I was looking at this terrain and seeing it. I think this is going to be really great for tournament organizers, people who need a lot of terrain for a lot of boards that needs to be set up quickly.
Yep.
This is going to be great for that because it's modular, it's quick to build, it's quick to assemble, and it doesn't look bad at all.
It doesn't look bad at all. I'll keep the free cam or dice cam on here just in case. So yeah, all of this terrain here, he is selling for $200 US dollars. Yes, I would buy another one of these because of how, like Sam said, it is almost too much terrain. I brought these to a tournament yesterday, time of filming this, and I set up a board. They needed one more board. I'm like, oh, what a perfect time to show it off and try it out. And the guys all said, this is great stuff. They would buy it, and they said for this layout, it was almost too much. I know that's crazy. Just have bigger buildings, cooler, more detailed buildings. Do with it what you want. I think that is a huge selling point for that.
If you get another set, you could really do like full cities of death, not just like L-shaped ruins everywhere, but like full, 3 to 4 story buildings with really good vantage points. You can do a lot with what you get.
$200 for this whole set. I think it's a great deal, and that is my honest opinion, and as well as yours. Compared to GW, because just kind of put this into perspective, GW terrain, I would argue it does look better.
Yes.
However, it is not modular, except for stackable, because that is one thing GW is starting to do now, is their terrain can at least be stacked. But in terms of its size and its orientation,
you glue it together and that's what you have.
Yeah, maybe you can try and get fancy with magnets, but that's a lot of work and a lot of polarization you can't mess up. And if you do, you're screwed there. So minimal modularity. We have one set here. I'll show it on the screen for you guys. The Manufactorum Sanctum Administratus.
Administratum. The office building.
The office building, the fancy office building. And for comparison, it's probably the amount of terrain as the big chunk here, plus at most this, maybe even less than that. But at most this terrain here for those two pieces, $90 for that.
$90. So almost 50% of the cost for...
And for this, you would get 2 sets of that, plus 4 more L pieces and 2 smaller L pieces. So way better deal, and it's all modular, so you can make big buildings or you can make a ton of small buildings. You also could look at GameMat.eu, who also has been making some good terrain. They specialize in pre-painted design terrain already. They have a Gothic rune set, which before this came into our possession, I was eyeing up to buy for this exact board setup. They give you, it's $155, and it is probably, again, you get the equivalent to maybe 3 of those, 3 of these, right? 2 or 3 of these, and you get a whole bunch of little L's, so like what we just took apart here.
Right.
Or over in the corner there, if you can see that one. And then, yeah, you get 3 of those, and then a whole bunch of like little derpy walls, which are like 2 of these to get here.
Just little scattered terrain.
Like this. You get like 4 of these, 5 of these. That's $155, which is a lot closer in comparison because it is a good chunk of terrain.
Right, and it's solid resin, correct?
It is solid resin. It is pre-painted, so you don't have to paint it. but it's not modular. So for the extra price, you are getting modularity, and you are getting just a little bit more terrain, even maybe 25%, 15% extra terrain. So I think for that extra price, it's worth it because of the modularity. And as someone, maybe you only want the one set, which is fine, but as someone who has been playing 40K for a long time, the same terrain does get stale. So having the ability to say, hey, we're going to play on Cities of Death, or we're going to play in a smaller, and granted, yes, it's all buildings with this set, but at least it's not the same building over and over again.
Right. You can change the street layout and really shake up the way you fight.
Exactly. One thing you pointed out is that you are going to want to paint this.
Yep.
Well, you don't have to. It looks fine without it. But if you do want to paint it, you're going to have to do some special work to it, you think?
Right, because so if you paint it and you plan on using it modularly, where you're going to be taking it apart and kind of, forcing it, together, clipping pieces, handling them, if you don't use the right kind of paint and probably varnish it a couple of times, I could see the paint very easily chipping off.
Yes.
Which would either, if you went through the work to paint it, you're not going to want chipped terrain. It's going to look weird and incongruous.
Yeah.
But that is just something to be aware of, that you are definitely going to have to put in some additional work right up front when you paint it, just to make sure that the paint doesn't come off when you're handling it.
Right. Yeah, that is an important thing to note, that the true modular. What do you recommend for painting? Do you think just rattle can painting will stick around on it for a while?
I think, you're probably going to want something simple and durable. So like an acrylic primer, the kind like Halford's car primer or whatever. Krylon would work well.
Sure.
Just basic durable spray paint. And then I would say dry brush, which is my normal go-to for terrain. But again, because this is kind of lacking in some of the surface detail that Games Workshop terrain has. You could still pick it up. There is some surface detail, and there's the pillars.
And there's the corners, yeah.
Yeah, dry brushing, or maybe like a zenithal, so base coating it black and then taking gray and spraying it from the top might work. But yeah, you're going to want to do probably simple paint, a simple paint scheme, which you would want to do with terrain anyway. You don't want to waste too much time painting terrain.
Yep.
And then you're really going to want to put a lot of work into making sure that you varnish it properly so it doesn't all come off.
Always chip off, yeah. And I haven't had too much problem with paint chipping, but I can definitely see that if you are taking it apart, putting it back together, and you are painting it, you do want to be a little careful with it. But it's an important thing to say, definitely. Yeah. Again, Kickstarter will launch in about a month. Go to the links in the description down below. There's the Kickstarter link. Click the notify me button so you can stay on top of this. Highly recommend this stuff. We might pick up another set. That way we can do true skyscraper Cities of Death style stuff.
I'll be very excited for that.
Yeah, we do check out his Reddit page. He's got updates. He's gonna look to do other things, like I said, the crates and the half walls, and as long as this Kickstarter does well, which I'm anticipating it does, then he's gonna expand more with it and try more options out.
Right. Yeah, I'm excited to see. We've got the city, now we need stuff to put in the city.
And that, I was gonna say, going back to your variety, this doesn't have to be all. You can put your own crates and your own other stuff with it. It's just, this much terrain is a full border terrain. You don't need anything else, which is cool.
And because you've got this, now you can put all your attention into getting that other stuff, the details that can kind of enhance the aesthetic of the board and kind of counteract what we were just talking about with the limited design.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's good. Check it out. Help share this if you guys want and you see it. I think a gaming group, like 4 guys or a club going in on this is a no-brainer.
Definitely.
Definitely a great option.
One or two sets, you've got enough terrain for 2 tables. And yeah, you split up the costs between a group of people and
it gets cheap quick.
It gets very cheap very quickly.
For what you get out of it.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that'll be it. You guys, this is the video you're gonna see. On Monday, you will see our first battle report featuring this terrain, which armies they are. I believe it's gonna be Grey Knight Tyranid, a classic one, because we kind of screwed up our last one we did with the sound issue. But it will be better this time. We'll be using all new Warzone Nephilim point changes and missions. And yeah, we're gonna have a great time on that. So stay tuned to Monday and see this terrain in action, actually see how we interact with it, and stay up to date on our channel. We will be doing one more video on the launch day of this Kickstarter to help promote it even further. I'm sure the guys at SnotGoblinGaming are gonna be in the comments checking it out. Give them your constructive criticism, give them your support, feedback, whatever you want. He'll be there to get the most out of it from you guys. So, and we're happy to partner with them for this. So.
Of course, it's very exciting. It's our first sponsorship, so.
Very exciting. So that's all we got for you guys today. Let us know what you think down in the comments, and we'll catch you next time here at Maelstrom Gaming Studios.